podcast from CBS Sports.
High drive, center field, hit the wall, grand slam. This is magnificent.
Got a fantasy question? Email fantasybaseball@cbsi.com. Get ready to win your league.
Where fantasy becomes reality.
Now here's Frank, Scott, Chris, and Adam.
It only took until September, but Francisco Lindor and the New York Mets are finally coming to life. Welcome into Fantasy Baseball today on Monday, September 13th. Frank Stanfield joined by the one, the only, Scotty Dubs, Scott White. Lots to recap. We have a bunch of potential waiver moves. Would you rather questions for Scott? We'll get into the Mets in just a second. We had another no-hitter, the 9th of this MLB season, which actually breaks a record-setting 9th no-hitter this weekend. But what's going on, Scott? How was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. It was great, Frank. Watched some football. I'm sure you did too.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a big weekend. It's a busy weekend. Yes. We were talking beforehand. My day started very early. We're up very late. So for those of you that are watching us live currently on YouTube, we do appreciate you hanging around for this. Scott, I went to the Mets-Yankees Subway Series. The whole series was awesome, by the way. I mean, whatever. The Yankees lost 2 out of 3, but the games were very back and forth. At least Saturday and Sunday were. But man, Saturday was awesome. One of the best live games that I've ever been to in my life. Aaron Judge, 2 home runs, makes an awesome catch in the 9th inning. So that was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the real exciting game was Sunday, it seemed like. So if you could have weaseled your way out of the first week of NFL games and gone to that one instead, you would have really been in for a treat. A brawl. 3 home runs by Francisco Lindor, including a game winner in the 8th. Not like a walk-off, but still.
Yeah.
It wasn't a brawl, right? The bench is cleared. It wasn't quite a brawl.
There was no
going a little far there with the brawl talk, but, there was some excitement.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we had Stanton and Lindor kind of chit-chatting and rounding the bases and stuff. Bench is clear there. So, yeah, awesome series. We'll get into all that. But let's just start with the no-hitter. Corbin Burnes pulled after 8 innings. Does not allow a hit. 14 strikeouts to 1 walk. 26 swinging strikes on 115 pitches. Josh Hader comes in, clean inning in the 9th. 2 strikeouts. Picks up his 31st save of the season. As I mentioned, 9th no-hitter in baseball this season. The 3rd time Cleveland has been no-hit. So they have Jose Ramirez. And then that's basically it. Franmil Reyes has been fine, but look, lineup needs a lot of help there in Cleveland. The story here is Corbin Burnes. I don't know, how early he's going to be drafted next year. I think he's very clearly inside the top 5, at least, maybe the top 3 starting pitchers for next year. But it's just been an absolutely ridiculous season for him.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think I had him outside of my top 5 the last time I did this. I probably had Shane Bieber in. And of course, it kind of contingent on deGrom status too. Is deGrom going to have some kind of surgical remedy for his elbow in the offseason or not? If not, then obviously he's going to be number 1, and Garrett Cole's up there, and Max Scherzer and Brandon Woodruff. So we're at 4 right there. I don't know. It might be a little tough to get Burnes in the top 5, but I got to say, I've been really impressed by how deep into the season he's continued to work deep into games or be used as a conventional starter, because he was one of the ones I was most concerned about that for coming into the season. Yeah, he spent so much of his career in relief up to this point. Last year, obviously, it was what it was, so he didn't get many innings then. He's up over 150 now, but their Brewers are going to be in the playoffs, so it's surprising that in September, with the division basically locked up, they're still letting him go 8 innings and throw somewhere around 115 pitches. Yeah, exactly 15 pitches. So that's been impressive to see, and like many other pitchers who saw his spin rates decline in June, they suddenly seem fine again. So make of that whatever you will.
Yeah, they have a 14-game lead in the National League Central. So definitely,
it's over.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting that that they are letting him go that far. But I guess one way to assure that you won't get pulled is pitching without allowing a hit. So Corbin Burnes has been awesome this year. Top 5, top 6, I think somewhere in that range heading into next season. So if you have him in anywhere, keeper, dynasty leagues, man, it's a good time. It's a good time to have Corbin Burnes on your fantasy team. How about some other players from the weekend? Let's get into it.
Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, Scott, we've already referenced those Metsies a few times. Which way are you going?
Well, yeah, I'm going with Francisco Lindor just because it was a performance to make you say, oh my goodness gracious, based on the season he's had so far. We've kind of gotten into it a little already, and I don't know that there's anything to take away from it here in September. I mean, if you used your second round pick on Lindor, you're going to take a victory lap for a 3-homer game in September? I don't think so. I don't think that's the way to go about it. He is having, this has been his most prolific month for home runs. He's up to 6 now for the month. And that was after, well, obviously he missed most of August. So no, I mean, 6 home runs here in September, but the batting average is still kind of suspect. It's been a really weird season for Lindor. The average exit velocity, the hard hit rates, they're both as high as they've ever been for him. And, part of that's just because those rates have gone up across the league, but still, and it doesn't seem like Lindor has suffered in those areas, and his strikeout rate has been higher than usual, but still in the same range, in that 15% range, So it's been difficult. It's been difficult to pin down what exactly is going on for Lindor, who should still have plenty left. He's 27 years old. I mean, he's in the prime of his career. He shouldn't be in decline yet. Hopefully he finishes strong. Hopefully this is the start of a really strong last 3 weeks, and we can have some level of confidence drafting him next season.
Yeah, 3 home runs on Sunday. He now has 6 homers over his last 9 games. And what I noticed is he's lifting the ball more. In September, 48% fly ball rate. That is his highest of any month. Obviously, we're only about not even halfway through the month, but almost there. So it looks like he's consciously trying to put the ball in the air more. And since returning on August 24th, 92 mile per hour average exit velocity. That's really good. I mean, that's an elite mark. So he is hitting the ball harder. He's putting the ball in the air. And so far, it's led to good things for Lindor. So I'm right there with you, Scott. Hopefully, we need to see something. We need to see more to give us a reason. Oh, he's still going to be drafted next year, but
of course,
to be drafted high, drafted with confidence, right? So
and how high
he's trending that way right now. Francisco Lindor is. I'm going to go with Tylor Megill, who pitched on Friday against the Yankees. 7 innings, 2 runs, 10 strikeouts to 1 walk. He had 18 swinging strikes on 98 pitches. Velocity was up a little bit across the board. He is 55% rostered, and he only has 1 start this week, but it looks like he's going up against the St. Louis Cardinals, who it's a pretty good matchup. They're 23rd in weighted on base average against right-handed pitching this season. So it's been a rocky, past 3 or 4 starts leading into this one, but a really, really strong performance from Mcgill on Friday.
Well, and he had 8 strikeouts against the Nationals the start before that. It wasn't a quality start, but it wasn't far off. So I think Mcgill probably deserves to be rostered in more leagues than he is. Having said that, next week it looks like he's in line to face maybe a 2-start week. Red Sox and Brewers, it's only a 5-game week for the Mets, so maybe not. Maybe just the Red Sox, which obviously wouldn't be the greatest matchup. And then the final week of the season, that would line him up for the Marlins and the Braves. Marlins would be a good matchup. The Braves, not a good matchup. So a mixed bag there with the matchups for Mcgill. If you're playing the matchups game at this point, I think he's fine for the Cardinals this week. I actually added him to my 10 sleeper pitchers for this week, but being a sleeper pitcher obviously doesn't mean a must-start pitcher either. So just depends what your pitching needs are. But for the most part, I like what we've seen from Mcgill.
Yep. And we did get a question from Sean in our YouTube chat, and he was asking what are some tips on rest of season waiver ads. And I think Scott just gave you one there. Is at this point, we're looking at schedules. We're looking at matchups more than anything else. We're not really picking up players that have long-term upside or potential. maybe unless you play in a keeper league, but mostly we're looking at matchups at this point. So Mcgill this week against the Cardinals, it's a good one.
There are certain players that I don't care about the matchups as much. I just think they've been overlooked for so long. Frank Schwindel, Ranger Suarez. Now, it just so happens they have pretty good matchups. The Cubs not this upcoming week, but then the 2 weeks following, they have good matchups. So it helps. But I think players like that, it wouldn't so much matter what the matchups are. They just have shown an ability to make an impact. Of course, they're not widely available. They're available in about a third of CBS sports leagues.
Schwindel is climbing, Scott. I saw he's all the way up to 58%. So
yeah.
People are listening, and it took a while, but he's playing very well. We'll get more into Schwindel in just a little bit, Scott. I want you to rank some waiver wire starting pitchers based on their matchups this upcoming week. Cole Irvin made a nice start over the weekend. 7 innings, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts against the Rangers. He is 66% rostered at the Angels this upcoming week. I mentioned Tylor Megill. Eric Lauer, another strong performance on Sunday. 5 1/3, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. He is home against the Cubs this week. Adrian Hauser, his last 2 starts, he has allowed 2 unearned runs, 0 earned runs, over 15 innings pitched. One of those was a complete game. He's at home against the Cubs this week. And then Michael Pineda started against the Royals this weekend. 5 innings, 1 run, 3 strikeouts up against Cleveland, who I think they've replaced the Mariners, Scott. So there's a chance that Michael Pineda might throw a no-hitter in that game.
Right. They've given up the most no-hitters this season, 3 of them. So I have to change my Mariners joke, apparently.
That's right. So how would you rank this group, Scott? Cole Irvin, Tylor Megill, Eric Lauer, Adrian Hauser, Michael Pineda.
So we're just talking about how much I want to start them for this upcoming week, right?
Yep.
Mcgill would be number 1. He's the only one of my 10 sleeper pitchers. The others, yeah, I'm not necessarily opposed to using them with the matchups they have, but not as much confidence, obviously. So I'll rank the others. Let's go Cole Irvin, because he has the best chance of providing a lot of length, followed by Lauer, Hauser, and Pineda. By the way, I was looking at Lauer, considering him for the waiver wire column for this week, and I don't love the Brewers matchups for their pitchers the rest of the way. So you might not have much use for Lauer after this week. Who's suspect anyway? I mean, he's been really successful of late. Let's see, what day did he start this weekend? Did he start Sunday?
Yep.
So Lauer's numbers, if I can find them real quick. Yeah. So over his 2 earned runs or fewer in 11 of his past 12 starts, that's a 184 ERA, 101 whip, 8.2 K per 9 over a 12 start stretch. But not a lot to explain how he's been that successful. I don't really have a good explanation for it. So I'm highly skeptical of it.
All right. Again, that is Eric Lauer. Let's quickly fire up the drop-o-meter here, Scott, because we just talked about some pitchers you might want to add. Let's talk about a few that you might want to drop. Josiah Gray has allowed 17 earned runs over his last 3 starts. He does face Colorado this week in Washington, so normally that would be a good matchup, but he's just pitching so poorly right now. He's 64% rostered. Where is he on the drop-o-meter?
Pretty much a 10. I mean, his last 3 starts, 5 home runs allowed, bunch of walks too. And for some reason in those 3 starts, he's really faded his slider. I don't know why. I don't know if he's just lost the feel for it or something, but he does not look nearly as effective without it.
All right. How about Corey Kluber, who has an 8.49 ERA in 3 starts since returning? He has not gone more than 4 innings in any of those starts. He's still 78% rostered, but he faces Cleveland this week, Scott. So he might throw 4 no-hit innings.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed with how Kluber's 3 starts back from the IL have gone. The velocities seemed fine. He's been getting whiffs on his curveball. He's doing it appears he's doing the things that he was finding success with before he went on the IL, but obviously he's given you no reason to use him since returning. So I'll put him like 8 on the drop-o-meter.
Yeah, I mentioned I was at the start Saturday. Corey Kluber started that game. He gave up a lot of hard contacts. He just didn't really have a feel for anything. He didn't throw many strikes. I don't know. He looks off right now. And normally he's a slow starter, so this might be him being a slow starter, returning back into the rotation. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think you could probably drop Kluber. Tarik Skubal, he threw 3 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts against the Tampa Bay Rays this weekend, but that's back-to-back 3-inning starts. He's still 73% rostered.
Yeah, I'd put him at like a 9. It seems like the Tigers are guarding his workload now, just like they are with Casey Mize. So I don't know if there's going to be much more use for Skubal the rest of the way.
We spoke about this guy last week too, but James Caprillion, he's still 78% rostered. He has a 5.73 ERA over his last 7 starts. Is he gone?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to put him at 10. I'll put it at 8, like Kluber. He had been outperforming his xFIP for most of the season, and just seems like it's catching up to him now.
James Caprillion,
He gone, and he gone, and he gone.
and he gone. A quick, oh my goodness gracious, team from the weekend. The Toronto Blue Jays. They scored 44 runs on Saturday and Sunday combined. So that was 3 games. Saturday was a doubleheader. They actually scored 11 runs in the final inning, in the 7th inning, to come back and win that game against Baltimore. I mean, the Orioles pitching staff is just so bad, but I wanted to give the Blue Jays a shout out. They scored 22 runs on Sunday alone, which if you saw the score on your little ticker while you're watching TV, you probably thought it was a football score, but they wind up winning 22-7. So a few standouts. Vlad Jr. hit 2 more homers. He's now up to 44 home runs for the season. Teoscar Hernandez, 8 hits over those 3 games on Saturday and Sunday, 2 more homers. He's now at 27 home runs, 11 steals for the season. Great year for Teoscar Hernandez. And then Lourdes Gurriel, 3 homers, 6 runs, 10 RBI over the last 2 days, 87% rostered, so likely not available. But very quietly, Teoscar Hernandez, Lourdes Gurriel rather, up to a 283 batting average with an 802 OPS. So really slow starter, a lot like Michael Conforto has disappointed for most of the year, but once August came around, I mean, both Lourdes Gurriel and Michael Conforto have turned it on in the outfield if you held on to those guys. So,
well, yeah, I mean, Teoscar Hernandez has been good all year, but Gurriel lately. Hernandez has been one of my biggest misses because he was the bust call I was most confident in back in spring, remember? But, really cut down on his strikeout rate. So that hasn't been the issue that it had been throughout his career.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure me, you, and Chris all had Teoscar Hernandez as a bust, and more so because we thought he was overvalued. Not that he was just going to completely plummet, I guess.
I thought he was a 4th outfielder who just got lucky during the short season. I mean, that was my take. He continued to strike out at 30% of the time, but it's down to 25% of the time this year. And he's been great. It's
going to be interesting to see where he goes next year in drafts, Teoscar Hernandez, because I was basically comparing him to Kyle Tucker. They have very similar numbers. I would have to imagine Kyle Tucker is going to be a 2nd-round pick at least. I think he's probably going to go.
Yeah, probably borderline 2nd, 3rd.
But if you compare their numbers side by side, they're not far off. Teoscar Hernandez and Kyle Tucker, very similar players this year. So it's going to be interesting. Some news and notes from the weekend. Max Scherzer became the 19th pitcher in Major League history to 3,000 strikeouts. He took a perfect game into the 8th inning. He only gave up 1 hit with 9 strikeouts against the San Diego Padres. So shout out to Max Scherzer. You want to talk about misses? That was me. I was way off on Max Scherzer. Mets manager Luis Rojas said on Sunday that he's hopeful Jacob deGrom will be able to resume mound work this week. I don't know if should we continue holding Jacob deGrom, Scott?
It's obvious. It's not imperative.
Yeah.
If you have an IL spot to stash him in, there's not really any downside to that. But I am, how much time does he have to get stretched out? I mean, even Shane Bieber, he's scheduled to begin a rehab assignment Tuesday, but he hasn't pitched since June, right?
Yeah.
For what? For 1 start? Is he going to come back and make 1 start?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
2 starts. I don't know.
I would have to imagine, since he hasn't pitched since June, he's probably going to need at least 2 starts, right? On rehab?
On rehab, so Tuesday and Sunday, hopefully, maybe not even till the following week. And then
maybe
next week, not this upcoming week, but next week is the second to last week of the season.
Yeah. I mean, you might have Bieber for those final 2 weeks, but it's, how much are they going to push him? Cleveland's out of it too. So
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. The White Sox are expected to use a 6-man rotation over the rest of the season, which will allow Ronaldo Lopez to make a few more starts. But then Tony La Russa said that he's uncertain when Carlos Rodon will pitch next. So Rodon limited the Red Sox to 1 run over 5 innings on Friday. Scott, have you seen anything on this, the latest Carlos Rodon White Sox rotation?
I haven't. Keeping up with rotations. It's funny. We're saying, this pitcher's next 4 matchups are this, and this. But you can't really say that with a lot of certainty. It's just keeping up with rotations right now is dicey. It's dicey.
It's a mess. Yeah. I mean, these are very tentative schedules that we're throwing out there. But again, like I said it on Friday's podcast, we're talking about, schedules moving forward, 2-star pitchers. It's, take a lot of it with a grain of salt. But these are the things that you should be looking at, again, this time of year is matchups more than anything else. Awesome story as Chris Bassett threw a bullpen session on Saturday, 30 pitches, and he could make multiple starts before the end of the season. And if you remember, he got hit in the face with a line drive back in August, and he had to have surgery on his, he had a fractured cheek. So it's a great story for Chris Bassett. He's 69% rostered. Scott, would you look to add and stash Bassett anywhere?
No, I still think it's a long shot. He's going to get to a point where you could trust him in your lineup. Yeah.
Oakland, unlike the other teams that we've talked about, they are playing for something right now. They're 3 games out of the wild card spot, so they're trying to.
They're trying to stay in it. They're
trying.
They're falling. They're sinking like a rock. The Mariners have a better chance of making the playoffs now.
I just realized the Yankees are a game out of the wild card. Imagine trading for Anthony Rizzo and Joey Gallo and not playing for a wild card game.
Imagine trading for Jose Barrios and not playing for a wild card game.
Yeah.
As it, the Blue Jays were pretty far out of it at the time. Now they're ahead of the Yankees.
Yeah. There's the AFC East right there at the top of the wild card. The Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and then the Yankees are a game behind.
What division was that?
What did I say? AFC East. Gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, football's here and it's Sunday. So there you go. The AL East. Chris Sale, speaking of the Red Sox, he tested positive for COVID on Friday and missed his start this weekend. He'll be out at least 10 days, which means he won't start this upcoming week either. So make sure to get Chris Sale out of your lineups. Trevor Bauer's administrative leave was officially extended through the end of the postseason as expected. The Dodgers placed Kenley Jansen on the paternity list. He'll miss the next 1 to 3 days. Jack Flaherty is scheduled to throw a bullpen session Thursday. He's on the IL with a shoulder strain. A lot like the other pitchers we've talked about, Scott. I just don't think that there's enough time here for Flaherty to get built up.
I don't think so.
Yep. Marcelo Zuno was placed on administrative leave under the league's domestic violence policy. Domingo Germán will start a rehab assignment on Tuesday. David Bednar was unavailable Sunday due to right side discomfort, and I believe Chris Stratton picked up at least 1 save this weekend. Yeah, on Saturday, 6 saves. So if you play in a deep categories league, I picked up Stratton in a 15-team roto league where I am very desperate for save. So again, you have to be pretty desperate there.
Yeah,
for the Pirates, would be closer, I guess. The Rays activated reliever Nick Anderson. Any interest in him, Scott, in very deep leagues?
So he's another pitcher who had an elbow ligament issue and didn't have Tommy John surgery to correct it. So, and it's the Rays. I think the reliever to roster there is Andrew Kittredge. But that's not saying much, and that has as much to do with his ERA as anything else.
We had a couple of players go to the IL this weekend, and a lot with the Tampa Bay Rays, actually. Wander Franco with a right hamstring strain, which is unfortunate because he's been awesome here in the second half. So there's a chance he returns for the end of the season, maybe last week or so. But Yeah, sucks. Shane McClanahan, another one. Yeah, he went to the IL with back stiffness, but only expected to miss one start. So definitely keep Shane McClanahan on your teams. Chris Archer went to the IL with hip discomfort. Matthew Boyd with a left elbow strain. Steven Brault with a left lat strain. Scott, would you start or sit these players who are currently questionable? The Yankees are optimistic Garrett Cole will start on Tuesday, but I guess there's still anything can happen. The year of the setback. So would you throw Garrett Cole back in your lineups?
Yeah, I mean, lining up for 2 starts, and those 2 starts would be the Orioles and the Indians. So you might throw 2 no-hitters.
That's very welcome for the Yankees right now. Aaron Judge left Sunday's game due to dizziness. I haven't seen any updates on this yet, Scott, but the Yankees do play on Monday. They have 7 games this week, so you'll have to make the decision right away.
Yeah, he's been amazing too of late, so I would expect to play him.
Yeah, but we should. Is there any early games on Monday? Let me pull that up.
There's one.
Okay, so
we go all year without having any early lineup locks on the first day of the week until like the last few weeks.
it actually is the Yankees, and it's a day game, so
we'll get to find out pretty early.
Well, no, but I would guess, considering he just played a night game and left, that he's probably not going to play the day game right after it. But
yeah, I mean, but unless you hear concussion,
yeah,
I wouldn't worry about. I'd plan on using Judge.
Blake Snell left Sunday with left adductor tightness, which also sucks because Blake Snell has been amazing.
Yeah, it just figures. It figures, Frank. Can't we get good pitching this time of year? Like,
nope.
There's so little to be had.
Scott, where is a left adductor?
It's the groin.
Oh, all right. I've heard it a million times in my life, but I couldn't, if you told me, if I had a skeleton and I had to, or if I had to point to Derek Jeter here on the wall and say, where is his adductor?
It's not. Yeah, I'd rather not point to that.
But would you take Blake Snell out of your lineup?
Yeah, I think you have to.
It doesn't sound too good.
He might be out for the season.
The Padres aren't expected to place Jake Cronenworth on the IL, but he is managing a fractured left ring finger. What do you do there?
Jeez. I mean, players have played through broken fingers before. So, do we know when he hurt it?
It happened this weekend.
Okay, so it hasn't been. So we don't really have an idea how he's going to do with it. He
didn't play. I think it happened Friday because he only had 1 at bat, and then he didn't play Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, so he sat out the whole weekend. Okay, probably should try to sit him then.
Yep. How about Chris Taylor? He's missed 2 straight with a neck injury.
He's been ice cold too. So if you have alternatives, be good to play it safe.
Tim Anderson is expected to be activated Tuesday. Throw him back in?
Yeah.
Zach Greinke apparently will return Tuesday and start against the Rangers.
Okay, yeah, start him.
Joe Adell was out Sunday after running into the outfield wall on Saturday, and he's been pretty hot recently. He's got an 8-game hitting streak, and during that span, he has 3 homers and 1 steal. What do you think about Joe Adell?
I don't like the Angels matchups this week. They have the second worst matchup, so with the health situation happening there too, I would rather sit Joe Adell.
Last one here, Michael Brantley is dealing with knee discomfort and did not play on Sunday. And while he's hit for a great batting average all year, batting .315, virtually no power. 8 home runs, 45 RBI. It's pretty dreadful for Michael Brantley.
Well, I love the Astros matchups this week.
Mm-hmm.
But, obviously you actually need him to be in the lineup to take advantage of those. Probably going to sit him in most standard size leagues.
The Astros do play on Monday at 8 o'clock, so you should know at a decent time, maybe an hour or so beforehand, whether or not Michael Brantley is in the lineup. A few prospect updates. Seth Beer, finally, Scott, he was called up on Friday by the Diamondbacks, and he homered in his first career at bat. He is 8% rostered. Would you look to add Seth Beer anywhere?
Sure. 15-team leagues for certain, probably some 12-team roto leagues. It's not clear how much he's going to play. The Diamondbacks were in an AL park this week, and I believe Seattle, right?
Yep.
And so he had a pinch hit home run on Friday and then started Saturday and Sunday at DH. Went 4 for 8 with the home run and a double. So got off to a great start, and obviously they don't have anything to lose this year. Might as well audition him for next year since he's up, you would think. But defense is an issue for him, even at first base. So can't be 100% sure they're going to play him. They should, but it remains to be seen. So I wouldn't go crazy for Seth Beer yet, but a really good profile for fantasy purposes. Hit for average and power in the minors, good on base skills, kind of a Moneyball era throwback in that, all he does is mash.
Mm-hmm. I picked him up in my NFBC main event, which is a 15-team 5x5 roto league. I picked him up for $1 out of a $1,000 budget. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's get some play time, Seth Beer. We'll throw him in there. But again, for deeper leagues, take a look at Seth Beer. Jose Barrero was recalled by the Reds this weekend, Scott. Even though we just spoke about him on Friday, he was called up because Kyle Farmer went on paternity leave. So anything to see here with Barrero?
And I think Barrero got hurt on Saturday.
I saw something.
Was he back in the lineup Sunday? I didn't check that.
Let's see. He was not in the lineup Sunday.
Yeah. And since it's a paternity leave thing anyway, I think they'll go back to Farmer when he's back in the lineup either way.
Clarke Schmidt was promoted and started for the Yankees on Sunday. He was not great. He, I believe, gave up 5 runs over 4 2/3. Only 2 of those were earned. So he is regarded as one of their better pitching prospects. 4 1/3, 5 runs, 2 of those earned, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Not really. Anything, Clarke Schmidt?
No, I don't even. There's no reason to believe it's even a long-term stay, right? So nah.
All right. With Randy Arozarena activated this weekend, Josh Lowe was sent back to the minors, which we assumed would happen. And Rangers third base prospect Josh Young is not expected to make his major league debut this season. So if you were stashing him anywhere in redraft, you could drop him. But maybe next year in keeper and dynasty leagues. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we've got a ton of waiver wire hitters to make Scott make some tough decisions. We'll do that next year on Fantasy Baseball Today. All right, so let's rank some outfielders in shallower leagues, Scott. I mentioned Michael Conforto a little bit earlier. The Mets are hot. Lindor is hot. And so is Michael Conforto since the start of August. A .276 batting average, .870 OPS, 6 homers. He's 71% rostered. He's got 6 home games this week. Joe Adell, I mentioned. You don't like his matchups this week, but he's on an 8-game hitting streak. Andrew Benintendi, over his last 5 games, he has 12 hits, 3 homers. He's 56% rostered. And then Ian Happ, who I think kind of fits that mold that you mentioned with Frank Schwindel, where you don't like the matchups for the Cubs, but Ian Happ is just too hot to leave on the waiver wire. So he is 57% rostered. How would you rank that group, Scott? Conforto, Adell, Benintendi, Ian Happ.
Yeah, Happ would be number 1. Again, I don't know that you start him this week necessarily, but I do like the Cubs matchups for the 2 weeks thereafter. So he'd be number 1. And then Conforto. And we've been waiting to see this from him all year. It's happening so late that I don't know. I don't know if he's fine now. Obviously a small sample, and it's not like overwhelmingly awesome. It's just like normal Michael Conforto production. But he would be second, followed by Adell and then Benintendi.
All right, there you go. So that is Happ, Conforto, Adell, Benintendi. Would you rather? Hitter edition. I've got a lot of these, Scott. Tough decision. Number 1, I know Jeimer Candelario is on your sleeper hitter list for this week, but Frank Schwindel has been great since he has joined the Chicago Cubs. He had 6 more hits this weekend, added another home run. He's 58% rostered. Candelario had a double dong on Sunday and just having a really big second half, 915 OPS in the second half this season. Who would you rather have for this upcoming week? Or I guess rest of season, Candelario or Schwindel?
I'm looking at the Tigers matchups. No, the White Sox are tough. They got the White Sox twice, and then this week their matchups. Okay, so if you can afford to roster both, I would start Candelario over Schwarber this week, or Schwindel this week. But Schwindel's the one that needs to be rostered. So I'll say Schwindel.
Okay. I think that's fair, though. I mean, nice little caveat there. But really good matchups this upcoming week for Jeimer Candelario. How about in the Baltimore Orioles outfield, Scott? Anthony Santander, 3 homers this weekend. He is 57% rostered. 6 games this upcoming week, including 3 lefties on the schedule. And then Austin Hayes, who I know is also one of your sleeper hitters, over his last 15 games, 311 batting average, 4 home runs. Who would you rather have, Austin Hayes or Anthony Santander?
Well, this is very much a week-to-week situation, and the Orioles are in line to face at least 3 lefties. Santander's worse against lefties. Hayes is better. Hayes has a near 900 OPS against lefties on the year. So I would say Austin Hayes. By the way, Santander, prior to that little home run binge over the weekend, he'd been cold. It had been like a 13-game stretch where he had done nothing. So it was very when Santander is one of those players, when he's not homering, he's just a waste of a lineup spot. So,
all right.
Yeah. Hayes. Going Hayes.
All right. Austin Hayes, we're going with there. Let's say you need a catcher, Scott, in a 1-catcher league. This is a toughie. I know you like both of these guys. Dalton Varsho went 3 for 4 with his 10th home run on Saturday. He's got 6 road games this upcoming week. Alejandro Kirk is hot right now, and I know he was one of your oh my goodness gracious players last week. His last 15 games, 288 batting average, 5 homers for Alejandro Kirk. Who would you rather have, Varsho or Kirk?
I've been debating these two all day in my leagues. Some leagues where I have Varsho, do I drop him for Kirk in the waiver wire column coming out Monday? Do I feature Kirk or Varsho? I think I'm going to have to lean toward Kirk. It's mostly a matchups thing. The Diamondbacks this week, they get the Dodgers and Astros. Next week, the Braves and Dodgers. The final week of the season, Giants. And then Rockies. The Rockies you don't worry about so much, but all those others are tough for Varsho.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Jays have it pretty good. So I do think Varsho is higher upside and potentially more playing time, but that's not even how it's been playing out. So I'll go Kirk.
Yeah, and if you want to take lineup context into account as well, I mean, just the Blue Jays, one of the best lineups in baseball right now. So that definitely helps Alejandro Kirk as well. Let's say you need a corner infielder, Scout, with some pop. Who would you rather have? Brandon Belt, who has 10 hits and 3 home runs over his last 5 games, or Bobby Dahlbeck, who hit another home run on Friday and in the second half is batting .281, 11 homers, a .968 OPS. Belt or Dahlbeck?
So this week it's definitely Dahlbeck because the Red Sox are scheduled to face 5 lefties. Dahlbeck is at his best against lefties.
5 lefties. Wow.
Yep. He's in my 10 sleeper hitters and Belt is not. Now, Belt, obviously he's been hot. He was in my 10 sleeper hitters for this past week. Obviously that turned out well.
Crushed it.
Here's the issue. He was out of the lineup Sunday against a left-hander. Wilmer Flores was in the lineup at first base. And if you look back at when Belt went from being a platoon player to an everyday player, it was when Wilmer Flores went on the IL at the start of September. So now Flores is back. Does Belt go back to sitting against lefties?
Oh,
I know. It would be annoying, but I fear that's what's going to happen. So I will take Dahlbeck, not just for this week. I would, I don't know. I can't predict the matchups for the next 2 weeks, how many lefties and righties for each of these teams, but I would not be beholden to Belt because I think he's going to lose playing time.
Okay, I'll just point out, this is what CBS has for this upcoming week, that the Giants are only scheduled to face 1 lefty as of now, and that is Max Fried.
So that's good, but it's tough matchups. They have the fifth worst matchups.
Yeah,
according to moi.
Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, Charlie Morton, even obviously Max Fried is pitching very well, so it is pretty tough for the Giants this upcoming week. Let's say you play in a 5 outfielder league, Scott, and you want to pick up someone who's hot right now. I think Lane Thomas and Brian De La Cruz would both fit that description. Lane Thomas hit a 3-run homer on Sunday. He's consistently leading off for the Washington Nationals. He's 12% rostered. Brian De La Cruz for the Marlins this weekend, 5 hits. He added another home run. And in 39 games with Miami, 338 batting average, 4 home runs for De La Cruz. He's 8% rostered. Who do you like more, Lane Thomas or BDLC?
So Brian De La Cruz, the Marlins have the better matchups this week. So I'll go with him for this week. And I'm not particularly high on either of these guys, though. Entering Sunday's game, De La Cruz had a 456 BABIP. So, obviously the batting average was well over 300. So maybe it stands to reason the BABIP's going to be high, but that's really high. Too high to sustain.
I'm pretty sure he has, it's like a 257 expected batting average last I saw. Yep, that's it too. So currently batting 338. Should be some regression here. So, all right. So did you give an answer for that? Who do you like?
Yeah,
more?
for this week, I'll take De La Cruz, but it's not. Like, I didn't even put him in my 10 sleeper hitters. Maybe I should have, but but I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he's more of a deeper league play anyway. Just like these players, if you need some speed, Scott, they play on the same team. Would you rather have Leody Taveras or Yanni Hernandez? Taveras, in 16 games since returning to the Rangers, only batting 209, but he's got 3 homers, 5 steals, so he's making stuff happen. Yanni Hernandez, his last 7 games, has 7 hits with 5 steals. Stole a ton of bases in the minor leagues as well. So if you just need speed, which one of those guys do you like more?
Taveras.
Okay.
Do you disagree?
No, I mean, he makes a little bit more things happen. I think if you just need speed, Hernandez would make more sense. But if you're looking for the highest upside, I do think Taveras has more upside in general. So I'm cool with that. They do play 7 home games this week too. So I don't know exactly how good the matchups are, but volume wise,
they're not good.
Not good. Not good for Texas. All right. So if you do need some speed, those are some names to look at. How about if you need some power in deeper leagues? Jesus Sanchez hit a home run in 3 straight games this weekend. Some bombs too. One went 460, another one went 429. He's 25% roster. DJ Peters, his last 7 games with Texas, he's batting 321 with 3 homers. Hit a good amount of home runs in the minor leagues too. And then Yoshi Tsugo, 24 games with the Pirates, 279 batting average, 7 homers, a 1096 OPS. Deeper league, Scott, if you need pop. Sanchez, Peters, Tsugo.
Probably Sanchez. The Marlins have the best matchups of these 3 teams and, home runs in 3 straight games. I didn't put him on my 10 sleeper hitters either because he's kind of a poor man's Anthony Santander where it's home run or nothing basically for Jesus Sanchez, but definitely not ready to trust DJ Peters. And I'm not ready to trust Yoshi Tsutsugo either, but really productive since joining the Pirates. It's very interesting what he's done. I'm not ready to buy into it, but keeping a close eye on it here to close out the season.
Yep. If you play in a 15-team Roto League, Tsutsugo has 6 games this week, only 1 lefty on the schedule, so he's been sitting against lefties, has started 7 of the last 8 games for the Pirates, so the upcoming schedule helps for Tsutsugo this week. Some hitting leftovers from the weekend. Anything here with these names, Scott? Tommy La Stella had a big game on Saturday. He went 3 for 6 with a home run, 5 RBI. He did not play on Sunday. He led off the previous 4 games for the Giants. Gavin Lux has started 3 straight for the Dodgers, back-to-back multi-hit games. He's 33% rostered. And then Garrett Hampson had a double dong on Sunday and has started 7 of the last 9 games for the Rockies.
I don't think there's a lot to see here. I suspect Flores' return might also impact La Stella's playing time in some way. It's surprising he'd been playing so much. Hampson, we know what to make of him. Gavin Lux has been playing left field since returning, which is interesting, but it's not like he was hot at AAA, so I'm not about to take a flyer on him again.
All right, a few other standouts from the weekend. Cedric Mullins, 2 homers and 2 steals. He's now up to 29 home runs and 28 steals. This is a ridiculous season for Cedric Mullins. Javier Baez had a sock in a shoe on Saturday. He knew I was in attendance, so he wanted to show off. I do appreciate that, Javier Baez. He's been awesome.
Show off the foot apparel.
Yeah, he's been awesome since joining the Mets. 31 games, batting .306, 8 homers, 4 steals. Overall, he's up to 30 homers and 17 steals for the season, Javier Baez. So just an awesome bounce back year. And someone is going to. Yeah, it's funny because
generating headlines for all the wrong reasons. But.
Right. Yeah. He threw the ball away, which allowed the Yankees to tie the game. I think either tie the game or bring it to within 1 run on Saturday. And everyone around the stadium just started doing like the thumbs down. So
but they're trying to turn it around. I mean, Lindor was given the thumbs up to the crowd after the home runs tonight, and they seem to be loving it. So, Lindor kind of got lumped in there.
Yeah. Baez is going to get paid by someone this offseason. I don't know who it's going to be, but he's having a great year. You know who's not having a great year? That's Joey Gallo. He's done the opposite since joining the Yankees. 39 games with them. He is batting .136 with a 40% strikeout rate. I know he could get hot, Scott, but he's still 98% rostered. I don't know. Hey, playing this bad, I kind of feel like you can't start him. You can't.
Look, this is one of those. Yeah, I mean,
well, they faced the Orioles this week, so now I don't know. The Orioles are
the Yankees have the single best matchups this week.
Oh man!
But I don't know, Gallo. That doesn't mean Gallo's gonna turn it on. It's either on or it's off with him. I hate this profile. I hate it because you never know what to do with it. He's definitely a you don't want this weapon falling in the wrong hands kind of player.
Yeah.
But if it would have to be a specific circumstances. Like I'm specifically chasing home runs and RBI in my Roto league. Maybe some 5 outfielder leagues you really won't have much choice but to start him anyway. But if you're talking about like a points league, nah, it's not worth it.
So 7 games this week, 2 lefties on the schedule. Both of those are against Baltimore. Man, just Baltimore's so bad. Again, 44 runs given up to the Blue Jays over their last 3 games. It's, all right, I take it back. I think you probably want to leave Gallo in there against the Orioles just because they're that bad. Luis Arias went 2 for 4 with his 20th home run of the season on Friday. He's got second, third base, shortstop eligibility, 66% rostered. The problem, the Brewers only play 5 games this upcoming week. Miles Straw had 3 steals on Friday, and in 40 games with Cleveland, he's batting .280 with 10 steals, 52% rostered for those of you chasing speed in your category leagues. A few others here. Bryce Harper, 6 homers over his last 8 games. He's now batting .307 with 32 home runs and 12 steals. Awesome year for Bryce Harper. Nice weekend for Byron Buxton, a bounce back, 5 hits, including 2 home runs. Luis Robert in 27 games since returning from the IL, .368 batting average, 6 homers, 1 steal, 14% strikeout rate for Luis Robert. Colton Wong and Avisael Garcia both had a pair of double dongs on Sunday, and Mitch Haniger has homered in back-to-back games. However, is only batting .216 over his last 30 games. Would you drop Mitch Haniger, Scott, or at least entertain the thought?
Oh, no, I couldn't do that. No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, so let's go over to the pitching side of things. I do have some starter sit questions for you. Kyle Hendricks bounced back this weekend. His first quality start since August 17th. Would you start or sit at the Phillies this week?
I would. I'm probably going to start him in half my leagues. And I have him in a lot of leagues. Probably going to start him in half and sit him in half. So, and it'll be based on what my other options are at starting pitcher. More likely to start him in a points league than a Roto, I would say. But, in a Roto, it kind of depends what you need. If you need wins more, if you need strikeouts more. I mean, I guess mostly it just come down to if you need wins, right?
Yeah. I guess if you really need a high ERA, he's probably good for that too.
He got dropped in one of my 15-team Roto leagues, and I picked him up for $7 of $1,000 budget. Like nobody wanted him in that league.
I mean, it's
surprising to me.
I guess it is a 15-team league, but it's just Hendricks has been so bad at Philly too. It's pretty scary. I think anything deeper than 12 teams, you could probably talk me into it, but I don't know.
Well, he's been bad unless he's been good. Is the thing.
But like when he's bad, he's been really bad.
Oh yeah, when he was bad, he was horrid.
A lot like this next pitcher we're about to talk about, who is Herman Marquez. He was at the Phillies this weekend, 6 shutout with 6 strikeouts. It was his first quality start since August 17th as well. Would you start or sit at the Atlanta Braves?
Oh yeah, very similar situation. I'd prefer to be able to sit him, but he may be the best I have. Kind of just depends.
He was actually dropped in my main event 15-team roto as well, and he was added for $52 out of $1,000 budget on Sunday. So I had a bid in, but I didn't even have $52 left to spend, so I did not get him, unfortunately. Ian Anderson was at the Marlins this weekend. 5 innings, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts, 21 swinging strikes on 89 pitches. Would you start him at home against the Rockies this week?
Probably, and this was a really interesting start because he had a combined 0 strikeouts in his previous 2 starts. I was getting kind of worried. He bounces back with this, and granted it was against the Marlins, but 9 strikeouts in 5 innings and 21 swinging strikes. I mean, even when Ian Anderson was a big strikeout, when he came up last year and was getting a bunch of strikeouts, when he's gotten strikeouts at times this year, wasn't on swinging strikes. And then beyond that, 13 of those swinging strikes were on the curveball. The changeup is really his elite pitch. The curveball is, sometimes he's good at getting like called strikes with it, but swinging strikes, it's not usually what it's there for. So I couldn't really find anything explaining what he did differently, but it was an interesting start for Ian Anderson and makes me wonder if he's figured something out there with his breaking ball.
Yeah. Get him back in there at home against the Colorado Rockies. How about Trevor Rogers? In 2 starts since returning, he's allowed 6 earned runs over 8 2/3 innings. Doesn't look right now. They're not letting him go deep into his starts. Would you start or sit at the Nationals this week?
Probably sit. He's at the point where he needs to show me something before I get him back in my lineup, which I guess means he's not undroppable. I would be a little scared to drop him, but it's not unthinkable.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup this week too. And I know that we look at the Nationals and they traded away Trey Turner and they kind of, had their fire sale, but they are first in WOBA against left-handed pitching this year, and they are 10th in WOBA over the last 14 days overall. So their offense is still playing pretty well.
Yep.
All things considered. Framber Valdez over his last 2 starts, 11 innings pitched, 8 runs, 7 walks, 10 strikeouts. Looks like he's starting to lose the control again here. Scott, would you start or sit at the Texas Rangers, which is a good matchup?
I would start. I mean, most of the walks were in this most recent start. He had 5 walks on Friday. Combined, that equaled the number of walks he had issued in his previous 4 starts. So it's really a one-off. So yeah, against the Rangers, I'd still trust Framber Valdez.
I believe he started against them recently. Yes, he did. On August 28th, 7 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. So yeah, one of his better starts this year. Get Framber Valdez back in there. Hyunjin Ryu at the Orioles. The Orioles crush lefties, man. They're not very good they're bad at a lot of things, but against lefties, they are actually pretty good. Hyunjin Ryu gives up 7 earned runs over 2 1/3. His last 18 starts now since the beginning of June, a 4.98 ERA, a 4.39 xFIP. Scott, Ryu's ERA is now 4.11 overall, which means you might have to eat a hat.
Yeah.
Would you start him against the Twins this week at home?
I don't think so. I think Hyunjin Ryu has gotten old on us. That's all I can make of it at this point. He's just gotten old. He's 34. That's younger than me, but it's old in the baseball sense.
It's kind of like right in between us, Scott, age-wise. That's Hyunjin Ryu.
Yeah.
Frank and Scotty age sandwich. I'm with you though. I mean, I'm starting him in a 15-team league because I don't have a choice. I don't have many options, but I think if you can get away from him, it's something I would look to do. Dylan Cease was up against the Red Sox this weekend, 2 2/3, 5 walks, 7 earned runs, but he faces the Rangers this week.
Yeah, and he had been pretty reliable before this. His ERA jumped about 40 points. It's now 4.22, I believe. Mm-hmm. But he had gotten it down in the 380s with a ton of strikeouts. So against the Rangers, I think you stick with Cease.
Yusei Kikuchi, 5 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts against the Diamondbacks this weekend. Had 14 swinging strikes on 76 pitches. He's still 81% rostered. He's only 55% started, and he's at the Royals this week. So that is a good.
It was a great start in a sea of misery for Yusei Kikuchi. So no, I can't. Even with that matchup, I can't bring myself to start him.
Aaron Savale gives up 7 runs to the Milwaukee Brewers on Sunday. Would you start or sit at the Yankees this week?
Yeah, he looked good in his first start off the IL. But I don't know. He's kind of... I know his numbers are much better this year, but he's kind of like Kyle Hendricks, I think, where when it goes bad, it goes really bad. Mm-hmm. And... this will be his 3rd start back from a long IL stint. It's risky. I think I'd prefer to sit Savale, but you may not have great alternatives.
Last one here, probably more so for deeper leagues, but Nick Pivetta, 5 1/3, 1 unearned run against the White Sox on Sunday. He's 72% rostered. He's at home against the Baltimore Orioles. He's someone who stood out to me because he was available in some deeper leagues. What do you think about that start?
I just don't think Pivetta is very good.
Yeah.
Before going on the COVID IL, he had 3 straight 4 earned run outings. Decent start against the White Sox coming back, but I'd rather not put my trust in him.
Okay, I lied. There's one more. Aaron Nola is at the Mets this week. He's got a 5.56 ERA on the road. I know that you keep saying that you're going down with the ship.
Going down with the ship.
Are you? He
gave us 10 strikeouts on Sunday. With a not so great ERA, but 10 strikeouts, you can't, they're in the bag. You can't lose those 10 strikeouts.
What a weird season, man. He had a sub-1 whip in this start. 5 hits, 0 walks, 5 1/3, but he gives up 3 runs.
He just gave up a 3-run homer to Hampson, I think, right?
Yeah.
That was it. 3-run homer, didn't make it 6. And by the way, I think he's gone less than 6 innings in 7 of his past 8, I believe it is. So, but then the one where he went more than 6, he went like 8 2/3 or something. So,
I can't tell which side you're on anymore, Scott, because it kind of sounds like you're.
I'm just giving you facts.
Yeah, those are
just the facts,
all right,
sir.
You're keeping him in the lineup at the Mets.
Yeah, I mean,
there.
I think Aaron Nola's good. I understand he's not showing us that very regularly, but he is at least getting strikeouts. And look, the whip is down to 1.12 on the season. It's a good whip. It's a high ERA, basically.
Yeah. Weird season for Nola. Lance Lynn made his return this weekend as well. He's at the Rangers this upcoming week. So, yeah, make sure to get Lance Lynn back in your lineups. The call to the pen, some bullpen updates on Friday for the Orioles. Cole Sulser pitched 2 innings. He picked up his 7th save of the season. For the Reds on Friday, Michael Givens got his 7th save. Michael Lorenzen used in the 8th inning. That's been the formula recently, but it's the Reds, so take it with a grain of salt. For the Mariners, Drew Steckenrider struck out the side on Friday for his 8th save. Diego Castillo was used in the 8th inning. Paul Sewald had allowed 3 earned runs over his previous 2 appearances before that game. So who gets the next save opportunity for the Mariners, Scott?
I think Steckenrider's the top choice here. That doesn't mean he necessarily gets the next save chance, but I think he's the one to roster.
For the Rangers, Joe Barlow picked up 2 saves this weekend, available in very deep leagues. For Oakland on Saturday, Sergio Romo came in the 8th, up 6-2. He gives up 4 earned runs. It was actually 3. He left with a runner on base. Andrew Chafin comes in, gives up a 2-run homer. He actually takes the loss. So Oakland's bullpen is an absolute mess right now.
And they're sinking like a rock.
Sure are. For the Pirates, I mentioned Chris Stratton picked up his 6th save. David Bednar is dealing with an injury right now. For the Cardinals, Giovanni Gallegos picked up 2 more saves this weekend and is widely available if you do
Pick him up. Giovanni Gallegos might be a top 10 closer right now. He's gotten 4 saves in 5 days.
Yeah.
And Alex Reyes isn't getting the roll back. They're making him a multi-inning reliever for the rest of the season. Like kind of in preparation for him competing for a rotation spot next spring. So they haven't declared Gallegos the closer, but he's gotten 6 straight saves, including 4 in the last 5 days, and Reyes is out of there. So Gallegos is, if he's not an ace reliever, he's just below that.
It's finally happening for your boy, Scott. Lego my Gallegos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Except don't let him go. Get him on your team. For the Marlins, Dylan Floro gave up a run on Saturday, but picked up his 10th save. For the Nationals, Kyle Finnegan recorded the final 5 outs on Sunday, picked up his 9th save. Carlos Estevez, a clean inning for his 7th save. And then for the Diamondbacks, JB Wendelken picked up his 1st save of the season. Tyler Clippard is currently on the COVID IL with flu-like symptoms. He threw a bullpen on Sunday, so there is a chance that he can return this upcoming week. To stream or not to stream, we'll start with Monday. Rich Hill versus the Cardinals, Logan Gilbert versus the Red Sox, AJ Alexi versus the Astros, Ryan Yarbrough at the Blue Jays, Paolo Espino versus the Marlins, and John Gant at the Yankees.
Okay, I'm going to say Rich Hill versus St. Louis is probably the only one I'd actually do. But if you need a second one, Logan Gilbert against the Red Sox.
Yeah, don't start Logan Gilbert. But Rich Hill, yeah, I can get behind that. For Tuesday, Jesus Luzardo at the Nationals, Eric Fetty versus the Marlins, Luis Gil at the Orioles, John Gray at the Braves, Tuki Toussaint at home versus the Rockies, and Logan Allen at the Twins.
Luzardo at the Nationals, I think, is a good play. And I don't mind John Gray at Atlanta. I don't mind Tuki Toussaint versus the Rockies. But Luzardo is definitely my favorite here. I don't mind Luis Gil at Baltimore after he just walked 7.
Yeah,
I liked. You know what? It may be a moot point because I think Luis Gil's actually going on Monday against the Twins with Cole coming back Tuesday.
Actually, I think you are right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
don't
even worry about Luis Gil.
Apologies. I blame you. ESPN matchups. No, it's fine. You normally
That's what you get for using that inferior site, Frank.
No, you said it, not me. All right, we're gonna wrap there. For Scott, I am Frank. Thank you all for listening and watching Fantasy Baseball today. We'll be back again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.